Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Aaron James. This is your latest Rangers FC news guide. As the pressure from external sources continues to grow on this dreadful board that continue to run our club into the ground. Yes, that's right. The Park family, who are an absolute curse on this club, who need to be forced from this club, and the rest of their cronies on the board have been utterly slammed and destroyed, not only by former chairman Dave King, but also by Simon Jordan on TalkSport. Now, I know Simon Jordan has some opinions where you sometimes sit there and think, what the actual is he talking about? But you know what? At times when it comes to football board membership, to directing a football club, to running a football club, he's actually got some sage pieces of advice. And certainly he seems to be backing former chairman Dave King. And on TalkSport this morning as well, Ali McCoist, Rangers legend, also backed Dave King as well to sort out Rangers and take them back to where we should be, back at the top of the Scottish game. Dave King has slammed the ongoing crisis at Rangers after he made himself available for the chairman's role, taking over from John Bennett, who stepped down in recent days. King has slammed the Ibrox board for their, in his words, astonishing failure surrounding the redevelopment setbacks at Ibrox, which obviously forced us to play some of our games, including that vital Champions League qualifier away from our home stadium at Hampden Park. It's quite clear that Dave King has taken a flamethrower to the Ibrox board and basically branded them incompetent, useless, and not fit for purpose. He has quite clearly made it clear that he feels that he needs to come back into the club to sort it out, to put it back in the right direction and get this club to grow again and get this club back to where it should be, not in the doldrums, not going backwards, not falling apart as it currently is under the stewardship of the likes of Graham Park, the ridiculous son of Douglas, and the rest of the clueless muppets that run our football club. Simon Jordan as well also had his say on the present situation as well. He says, I wasn't overly impressed with the discussions I had with various members of the Rangers board about certain things. Now, this next quote is very, very telling indeed. He said, I didn't think it was particularly grown up, and some of the things they do aren't reflective of a club of that standard. He's probably right, Dave, but he's taken a flamethrower to them. So how is he going to get some of them on board? I don't know. So, here we are. Simon Jordan, a guy who's run a football club at the highest level, is branding Rangers board as, in his words, childish and not grown up at all, and not having a clue how to run a club. He talked about the fact that it just seems to be one problem, one failure after another at our club. Since we've obviously been kicked out of the stadium, now we return obviously on Saturday against Dundee. We were knocked out of the Champions League. Bennett's gone. There's just a whole series of ridiculous setbacks, and the club is not moving in the right direction. And Simon Jordan spoke about the fact that something needs to change, and change very quickly, branding what is going on at Ibrox as an ongoing circus, which just is making things harder for Rangers, for the fans, and the club in general. John Gilligan is certainly faced with a tough job as the interim chairman to try and put this club back on the straight and narrow. We don't have a CEO, we don't have a real chairman, we don't have a director of the academy, we don't have a sporting director. There is really a listlessness to this club, a kind of a ship adrift out on the ocean without a captain kind of feel to it. Well, without a captain, without a first mate, without a bosun, without any sort of leadership at the top, without anybody really driving the boat, it just seems to be drifting and floating and not really moving anywhere, whilst Philippe Clement and his boys madly paddle alongside, trying to push the boat back into some sort of direction. But it's quite interesting, isn't it, that both Dave King and now Simon Jordan have come out and branded this Ibrox board as a disaster and have criticised them. It's interesting as well that Simon Jordan brands them childish in their outlook. I think this is very much down to their stubbornness, their inability to obviously take Dave King back, the fact they won't forgive obviously what happened in the past, the fact that they won't do what is right for the club. They'd rather in effect cut off their nose to spite their own faces rather than actually put the club back where it belongs. It's quite clear to me from what Simon Jordan has said, what Dave King has said, and what Ali McCoist has said, and what Graham Souness has said in the past about this board having very little football knowledge, that our board as a whole, the Park family especially, are not in this for anything good to do with our club. They are not in this to help run the club for the fans. They are not in this for the best interest of Rangers Football Club. And they are not in this for the best interests of our fans. They are in it for themselves alone, to line their own pockets. The Park family, who are worth over 800 million, get free advertising out of it, advertising their dodgy motor cars. This is an absolute disgrace that this family are continually destroying this club and not doing and taking the best decisions for it. This family need to be taken away from our club. They need to be forced out of this club. If Dave King can come back in and can do that, then all the better. But Simon Jordan and Dave King are right. This board are childish. They have not a clue what they're doing. They stagger from one disaster to another. And every decision they take seems to be bordering on the absolutely grossly incompetent. Guys, let me know what you think of Dave King and Simon Jordan's comments, and what you actually think of the Park family and the rest of this Rangers board, who are, in my opinion, an absolute disgrace to the great name that is Rangers FC. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Please drop a comment, smash the like, hit the sub, and remember always, we are the people.